When you need to be bigger than your ego. Hello everybody, Tom here, hope you're all well. I want to talk today about how there are times when we need to be a little bit bigger than what our ego is. And in this particular instance, a colleague of mine at work didn't exactly behave in a way that was befitting of her position, let's put it that way. So, to give you a little bit of a backstory, my supervisor and another person I work with didn't see eye to eye. They'd had a couple of angry exchanges, disagreements over the way the job should be, etc., etc. I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, yada, yada, yada. We've all seen it, we've all heard it. And to be honest, I don't want to be involved in it. I'm too blooming old for that. But the point I'm trying to make here is that sometimes, no matter what sort of relationship you have with somebody, no matter how good, bad, or indifferent it may have been, if you're expected to lead, which is, and you're in a position where actually you can make decisions based on other people, you can say whether somebody has a holiday or not, whether or not they're going to be paid. You can discipline others if you feel the need. All that in line, you have to be bigger than your ego sometimes. You have to be bigger than your own feelings. You have to be more than somebody upsetting you and you having a clash, especially when it comes to that other person deciding to move on. So, my colleague on Friday left the business. She moved on to pastures new. And I will admit that we haven't always seen eye to eye. That there has been a couple of flashpoints, should we say, in the office. Call it egos, call it whatever you like. Moments where we didn't agree with something and it did get, not out of hand, but a little bit ranty, shall we say. So, I've had my moments with that. But I'm a great believer that there's no need to hold a grudge in life, because at the end of the day, one person will say one thing, one person will say another. And as I've said before, there is the truth, there is their version, and there is your version. And there's always disparity between yours and theirs. And there always will be, because it's all about perspective. In this case, my supervisor needed to be a little bit better than the way she acted. I'll say a lot better, actually. So it comes to the end of the evening. It's Friday. Everyone's going home for the weekend. And we know it's this person's last day. They had a bit of a disagreement, as I've said, and don't particularly get on personally. And when it come to the end of the day, my supervisor did not acknowledge her. She didn't wish her well. She completely ignored her and blanked her, which really does leave a bitter taste in the mouth, really, doesn't it? You're moving on to pastures new. You may or may not have got on with that person, but regardless of whether you did, it is the decent and the professional thing to do to thank them for their work and to wish them well. I was in her position. No matter how much that other person had annoyed me, there's no way I would have allowed that pettiness, that ego, to become so big that I couldn't have the decency to wish that person well. Maybe I'm too nice a person, I don't know. Maybe I need to be a little bit more brutal in the world of work. But for me, if somebody's worked for you for any length of time, they've made the decision to move on to better themselves, which everybody's entitled to. Even if you've never really seen eye to eye, the bare minimum you should do out of decency is thank them for the job they've done and wish them well. Decency and professionalism. To ignore somebody, not acknowledge them, and do that in front of everybody is quite petty and childish, really. And I know I'm calling out the behaviour of somebody I work with here, but I have to say it. I have to say it because it is an example of where somebody's ego or feelings about being right and wrong, which I discussed last week or the week before, has become too much. It's become too much of a I need to win here, rather than actually you don't need to win. What you have to do is draw a line under your feelings in this case. And even if you don't particularly mean what you say, even though that is a bit fake and equally as bad, just be the bigger person and wish that person well. There will be times in life you have to swallow your ego and you have to be bigger. And it's not an easy thing to do. But equally, I think it's better in terms of your overall, how you're viewed, etc., to do that than to ignore somebody and be, in that state. This is my first of 3 videos this week. I want to say thank you all ever so much for listening. I really appreciate your time and energy spent on my channel. Thank you kindly. First of 3, as I said, please put down in the comment section below, what is your thoughts on this? Look, at the end of the day, people are people. We ain't always going to see eye to eye. But when you're in a workplace, when you're working with somebody for God knows how many hours a day, probably seeing them more than your family, whether you like them or not, whether you get on with them personally or not, you have to have a working relationship. If you do not have a working relationship, then it becomes literally impossible to get on and to do anything, and becomes really, really petty and childish, as it did. Really, the best thing anyone can say in this instance is shake hands and walk away and do the decent thing, and as I said, wish that person well. Even if there's a little bit of that other person that doesn't really want to wish them well, sometimes you have to be seen to be bigger. And it is the thing to do. That's my opinion anyway. Please, if you would, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. And please, if you would, consider giving me a thumbs up and like. That'd be really great. And let's hear that bell sign go ding dong so you know when my next content's out. I will be back in a couple more days with another video. But until then, please take care of yourselves and bye for now.